going to church without leaving the house. Now, people are turning their living rooms into a worship space.
They are. WSBT-22's Diane Daniels continues our week-long focus on how more of your neighbors are finding faith.
It says in the Bible that where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them. Fans of home church worship say that is the model upon which their movement is founded. When we think of church, this is what many of us think of: tradition and pageantry. Or the enthusiasm of an organized choir. Let it shine, let it shine. Or perhaps a highly produced gospel rock number at a large venue like Granger Community Church.
That's right, that's right. I was like, you look so familiar.
Welcome to the start of home church. 7 people in Bremen gathering around the kitchen to satisfy their hunger.
We just pray, Lord, that everything that we say and do is honoring to you.
And then they satisfy their souls. Sitting around this room on a Wednesday night, this is church for most of these people. No pastor, no pews, but plenty of prayer.
We just like the homey feel of meeting together in a home, and it also makes you more responsible for your walk with God, because you're not relying just on a pastor.
They still have music and sing at this home church. It's just to the tune of what's playing on a smartphone. The group is non-denominational. Some have a missionary church background. Others were brought up Baptist or Methodist. They're from all walks of life, and they're all here for their own reasons.
I was able to see the positives, obviously, of corporate worship and being able to meet in larger groups. And I was also able to see, okay, asking myself, especially in my 20s, okay, why are so many of my peers starting to leave the church, and what is it that they're looking for? What is it maybe that they feel like is maybe corrupted in any way?
It makes us a lot more accountable to our group here. We're not just showing up on a Sunday hearing a pastor preach.
Bethel College Associate Professor of Religion John Dendu has worked with home church groups for years.
In some sense, people are saying we're going back to the way church was originally conceived and started way back in the first couple centuries of the church.
Now I preach at church.
And there's no need to worry about laughing out loud at this church service.
I think what's cool about this is that God can meet us anywhere, and you don't have to be in a church or sitting in a pew to hear God's voice and to be ministered to. So I think that's a big thing in home church is
now back to GCC and its connection to the home church movement. Today it may have thousands of members, but it started as a home church with just 5 people meeting in a living room back in 1986. Some estimates put the number of home churches in the U.S. in the tens of thousands. And as our religious landscape continues to change and become less traditional, it's a movement most agree is here to stay. Diane Daniels, WSBT-22 News.
And this is one of the most rapidly growing groups of people. They're called nuns and duns. Understand what kind of nun I'm talking about here, N-O-N-E-S. There are more than 19 people in the U.S. who no longer identify with religion or are done with it altogether. A group of Notre Dame professors is studying this changing trend.
Being religious has been part of the American ethos, but now nuns, there's as many nuns as there are Catholics or as there are evangelical Protestants, and so this is a rapidly growing and really big group of people.
Hear from one man who identifies as what he calls a nun and why experts think this is happening. That's tomorrow at 6 on WSBT.